The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
3, 2, 1. We're back. The Global Latin Factor Podcast in full effect right now. And we're moving on to the next individual. But before we do that, I want to talk about a little something first because I think it's very important. And so I was getting my hair braided. I kind of enjoy getting my hair. I know some people see it as whatever, but it's just hair. That's all it is. Shout out to my girl Des for doing the braids. She does a great job, and I appreciate it for it. So we were talking, when you're barber or whatever, you get down, you start talking about, just random stuff. And she was telling me about the series that she watched on Netflix, and it's about something about I think it's Surviving. I think that's what it's called, right? And she was telling me that this one lady was having a dream. No, she was in a coma. No. Sorry. Once again, she had a near-death experience. She died for I don't know how long. I think it was like 40 minutes or something like that. So she was clinically dead for that long a time. During that time, she was given a premonition that her son was gonna die before she would. And as soon as she came out of it and she was able to see her son, she spent every moment as if he was going to go at any moment of time. And she would never tell him anything about why she acted the way she did. He maybe feel because of what the near-death experience that she had, there's a reason maybe why she acted that way. It wasn't until he was 18 years old when she told him, and I'm just going based on what she told me. I haven't seen the episode yet. And at 18, she tells him that, during her event, that she saw that he's gonna die. So he had turned 18. She figured it was already over, nothing happened. Been very careful, And then he went on a skiing trip, and soon after he turned 18 and he died. Now, what I told her was, I see two things. First of all, I don't know how to fully master, because I know everybody, and it's like a thing now. It's a movie and everything, how you can just bring certain things into just thinking about it, visualizing and bring it into existence, right? I don't know how certain things like that work. I know that sometimes, I manage to do certain things like that, but I'm not a master to do certain things. Maybe just if we believe truly, I think it's all in faith, right? I really do. I really do believe that it is in faith that anything, I'm talking about with your entire being, believe certain things that can make it happen. So I was telling her it was either when she told him that all of a sudden he just started seeing things of how he was going to die soon. Maybe a vision constantly of him dying in his skating. So he might have set off that idea. Well, that's just the only thing. Like, if she wouldn't have said never nothing, that would he ever gone into that state of mind and even thought that he was going to die? And I told y'all before of the guru that I listen to often, that I think that the thing that he says all the time, that I remind myself, even this morning, every morning and throughout the day sometimes, is that I'm not immortal, I am mortal, and I will die. His name's Sadhguru. I'm not immortal, I am mortal, and I will die one day. Not to scare me, but to realize my mortality, that I'm not going to be here forever, But at the same time, it made me a little sad because, so she came out of that, and then she loved her son like he was going to literally leave at any moment. And then we think about it, that's every day for us, Yeah, we don't ever see it like that. And it was a traumatic experience that she went through. But if you really think about it and be honest with ourselves, it is like that every single day. We don't really know. And it made me a little sad because I forget how much we should be like really enjoying everybody, and especially our family that are close to us like that. That it is reality that they will leave one day, and it will be a beautiful thing to always feel like, not to scare us, but to realize that they're not gonna be just like us. They're not gonna be here with us forever, and to love them in that way and treat them in that way every single day, without one day of passing of not loving them, and not to scare us again, but just to realize that we should be able to love every single one of our loved ones and anybody that you can every day, you know? So I was in the military before. I did a tour in Iraq, and I was telling Des that I never had a bad day. To this day, I don't have bad days, because if I had a bad day, that could mean a lot of things over there, you know? That could mean one of my friends, one battle buddies got blown up. Maybe I had an issue. I had something bad. So it was always a great day. It was always a great day. And I always have great days. And that's all I know how to have. Don't get me wrong. I'm not naive to know that there's challenging days that I can call it whatever, but it's not a bad day. It's just a challenging day that helps me become a better person eventually. After maybe a week, 2 weeks, I wouldn't even remember what had happened that made me feel that way at that time, you know? All right, so I just wanted to share that because I felt like it was very important. And it plays a little bit into who we're going to be talking about next. Some of them might seen the movie before, by Madonna, playing Evita. I really like that name, Evita. We're going to be talking right now about María Eva Duarte de Perón. She was born in May 7, 1919, and died July 26 of 1952. She was only 33 years old, better known as Eva Perón or Evita, and she was the wife of the Argentina, el Presidente Juan Perón. That he was president from 1895 to 1974, and that's when she was first lady until she passed away in July. So, very interesting lady. When I was looking of everything, of why she was loved so much. First of all, she was born into a family that, so her mother had a I don't know if it was her affair relationship with another man, and he had a family. So they were technically not, children that, they had a legitimate father, because, again, the man had another family somewhere else. And when he died, the other family treated her family the worst ever, because, it's only obvious. But it wasn't her fault. She grew up in poverty. She was very poor. There was a lot of challenges, but she always dreamed about acting. So she did pursue acting, moved to Buenos Aires, and pursue her career in radio, film, actors, and different things like that. And that's when she met her husband. And at that time, and shortly after, at a charity event, shortly after they got married, and became what it is. So she was very popular. So eventually, her acting was going so and so. It wasn't the best acting career. However, she found some kind of calling at this time. And there's different, I don't know if it's because it's political or not, but I've seen different, it just depends, there's always, somebody's way of saying it, then there's the other, and then there's the truth, right? And then some people seem like she made her way through because, they gave her the, because she was a woman, that, she might have been sleeping around. So they saw her as not so nice of a woman. And then other people just saw her as just, having ambition and things like that. Some people see her as being vicious and taking out the competition. And certain people just see her as like the best thing that ever happened to Argentina, Leo, can you look at Eva Peron and what did they call her? I think it's something about something to do with faith. So shortly after, she became like, after Mr. Juan Perón was elected into president, he was the next year. Eva Perón became one of the more powerful women pro Peronist trade union, and she spoke on behalf of labor laws. Santa Evita, that's one of the nicknames they gave her. Pretty much, she's just like somebody that the people, again, she could relate because she was poor. She didn't like the fact that she was illegitimate child, that she changed the law once she got in there. Of course, she didn't change it, but she had influence, that they were not to be called illegitimate children anymore. They were to call it naturalized children or natural children, because that's how much she detested that they saw her as that way. Not to mention whenever her father passed away and they were trying to, be helped, then of course they were not looked at upon. And at this time, Argentina, I didn't know. I don't know how a lot of things work, but apparently there was, there was levels. Like if you were in this part of society, you looked at a certain way. If you were over here, then you looked at another certain way. If you're up there in society, like do well off, you're looked at a certain way. And if you're poor, like her, and not with a lot of money, then immediately I'm pretty sure you can tell by the clothes, and they look at you a certain way. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason why she related a lot to the people that were poor and always looked after them. Had her own charity, Eva Perón Foundation. And she always championed for women's suffrage in Argentina. She fought. She was a feminist to the fullest. Formed one of the first, or helped form one of the first female parties, the Female Peronist Party, and that's who she was. And again, there's different variation. There's always a truth, but okay. So when she died, it rained. They mourned her for about 16 days or so. During that time, it rained those 16 days, and people attended her in the millions to her funeral to mourn her. Close to, from what I heard, 500,000 people kiss her casket. There's four people that died, if I'm not mistaken, and many of them passed out because they were waiting in line to be able to see Evita and say farewell to her. You know what I mean? So how is it that either is it a great con that can trick people into feeling that way, or the people saw her as such a caring person and how much she fought for them, even as sick as she was, because actually she eventually died of cancer, right? Ovarian cancer or something along those lines. She died of cancer, and she gave her last speech. But even at that time, she still was like, I seen speeches that she did, and like people were going nuts. People were going nuts of like the way that she talked, and it sounded very well, don't get me wrong, but it's crazy how they idolize her. And then to convince people, that many people, to stay in line, and she's already dead, to pay her last respects. I don't know. You could say it's fraud. And to have about 26,000 people reach out to the Pope at that time and ask them to make her a saint. After a while, it just, is it that, is it that she was this or that? Or maybe if she was, and then she came into a realization that all of a sudden, she found a better way to live, I don't know. But there was millions of people lined up to, and then there's these other things that happened after that was real weird with her body. And I'm pretty sure if you've seen some of the videos before, either then her body got changed. They did some I don't even know what the process is, but they made her body kind of like look still like preserved. And then her body, the president got taken over. They fled. The body made it all the way to, I believe it was somewhere in Europe. And then Juan Perón got married again, came back to Argentina, took power again, and then the body came back. Eventually, the body is in Argentina in this kind of bunker that's supposed to protect her from explosives and nukes, and that's where it's guarded now. And it makes me think of how terrorizing to the opposition, to the people that they didn't want her to see her as a martyr or as anything like that, to keep the body away and not be able to have people, view her in a certain way. Until this day, people still remember her. Every election just about that Argentina has, that doesn't go without having to mention her. And if she did not die at that time, at 33 years old, most likely she was going to be the first president of Argentina at that time. There was speculation that was she was heading of everything that she was doing. And she was the type of woman that even at the foundation, she will be right there. And that's what they didn't like, the opposite party. And the politics is just so weird. I get the concept, but I just think, in my opinion, just politicians just forget their purpose and not what they're supposed to be. And, it's kind of hard to be your own boss whenever somebody is giving you money to, give opinions about certain things. So, and then if you forget the people who you're supposed to be serving. Anyways, enough politics for that. But again, that is Evita Perón. If you never looked her up, there's also a movie that, again, Madonna played. And I just think it's wild to me that much influence she not only that, but her contribution to the world as a global Latin factor is the fact that, she pushed women rights, and to this day, they look for her, or they look at as far as somebody strong, and that's what they look up to, Evita. And if you've never seen the movie, again, I haven't seen the movie myself, not that I can remember. However, if you want to check it out, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find it. And with that, the final thought for that would be 33 years old. 33 years old. She's so young. She was so young. And she left. Now without living an impact. So, as I mentioned earlier with the story about the lady or her kid, man, why can't we just, not to scare us, but to really realize that it could happen, that you never know when your loved ones are going to leave you. So why not go ahead and enjoy them right now to the fullest? That is the final thought, the Global Latin Factor. This is this episode, and we'll see you next time again. Just like you, just the little spice in this global melting pot that is called the world. We'll see you next time. Peace.